Okay, so if you don't mind, just introduce yourself and tell us how long you have been GMing.
Uh, my name is Jack, and I have been I have been DMing for not too long. Like, if I collect all my times I've DMed, it's around 2 months, I believe.
Cool. And you're mostly, I'm going to guess, playing D&D 5e?
Yes.
Cool. That's where I got my start. All right. So I guess, some of my questions that I've been asking other people is, do you like to run like your own world, or are you using modules? What's your style?
I haven't really tried to use modules except for one-shots, not a campaign yet. For campaigns, I build my own worlds.
Cool. How do you go about building a world?
I take an idea or concept that comes to mind and try to spin it around and turn it and twist it and just figure out how can I make this interesting and fun. Like, what can I make special about it?
Yeah. Very cool. All right. And when you're doing that, do you like to, do you homebrew or house rule? Or are you strictly, going with rules as written type of person?
I am more an improviser, so rules law I'm not. So I kind of go with whatever I see is best for the moment and what is matching the setting the most. Like, currently I'm doing a campaign set in the Viking Age with Midgard and all the realms from there. So I had to restrict some of the races. Mm-hmm. A lot of the races, actually.
Yeah. Oh, that makes sense. Okay. And one other thing I always wonder about, where do you get inspiration for your games?
It is kind of everywhere. It's just comes to me, and usually it's just an idea. I think, what if? And then from there I work from. But my first campaign I had, I didn't really have an idea much for what I wanted to do with that. It was we started as a one-shot with it, and then my players kind of wanted it to be a campaign. Mm-hmm. So I had to figure out how to make this all work, and I just go into a program I know where I can make maps, and I just begin to make whatever my hands wanted to make, and I got an idea for that. Like, I somehow shaped it as like a maelstrom, the islands. So I was like, I have the world, and there's pulls a lot of magic coming there. Kind of magic creatures, and even if many people who aren't magical inclined normally, when they get there, they may find themselves having magic. Mm-hmm. So that was a heavy thing for me after I figured out the map itself.
Very cool. Yeah, that same thing happened to me. I ran a one-shot for a group of people, and then they all wanted to keep it going. So I was like, wait a minute, I have to build a whole world out of what was initially a series of gags. So, for me, it was, and I've told the story before, I'll tell it again. I wound up calling my country Wildom because it was named after King William, who named all of his firstborn sons, King William. And then I was like, oh, man, now I got to justify the stupid name for my country. But as somebody else has told me, if your players keep coming back, and they're probably enjoying themselves, that means you've done something right. So I've taken that as, even though I had to justify something that was just supposed to have been a gag, it also taught me to be careful about what gags I throw in.
Yeah, I know the same. I with my one shot, my players, one of the players made a joke that because this was a campaign where once where the wolves that start out with wolves attacking some sheep, where with some villagers as well. They saved the villagers and had to escort them back to the village they were at. And somehow the sheep just followed along, and they just made a joke with the staff is a controlled sheep staff. And I'm just like, bucket. Later on in the campaign, one shot, one of the players decided to kill the guy that was holding it and steal it. And then kill everybody in town with sheeps. An army of sheeps.
Okay. Give me a minute. That's good. I gotta laugh that one out.
Oh yeah, that's more to that one shot that is fun.
Yeah, that is something I love about this game is like, yeah, sure. Take the army of sheep and run through town.
Yeah, they also have a few wolves, intelligent wolves with them.
Okay. That's
one of them that have magic. Fire magic in
there is a wolf wizard in your world?
It was a one shot. It was part of. It was a sorcerer. It's a background of the one shot. It's not my. It was a pre-made one. A sorcerer who was the protectors of the village had to go and deal with these wolf attacks. He was never seen again, and somehow, whatever he did, caused the wolves to have intelligence. And the two alphas got each one kind of magic. Not complete magic, just a bit.
Yeah.
Like one can spit fire, the other can spit lightning.
I like that. I'm probably going to steal that, but I like that.
That is actually from a premium one shot. It is the Wolves of Wilton.
Okay, I'm going to write that one down right quick because
it's a pretty good one. It was my first one shot, and my player loved how I did it. Especially, even two of them actually had tried it before with somebody else. I just let them do things instead of giving them exactly the end options that was in the one shot made.
Yeah. All right. Oh, the other question that I always like to ask people is, do you have like a learning experience or advice you would give to anybody else who wanted to GM?
Oh, I have a few. One that I just learned here last session I had. Before you start a campaign, not a one shot doesn't matter with. You can do this either way. But before starting a campaign, ask some questions to the players about the characters to get to know them. I have 3 things I will ask them from now on every time I have players in a campaign. What is the character's desire? What is the fear? What is the one item they have that can't live without?
I like those. Again, I'm going to steal that from you because those are 3 great questions.
Yeah. That is really good because desire, you know how to get them to do what you want, to go the road you want. Fear, you know how to play with them. You know how to mess with them. Like, that was actually how it began for me. We was missing a player that was kind of important for me here in this session in the beginning. So I was trying to stall for time by just the last session before they gone to sleep. So in this session, I started out with talking about the dreams, like how their dream was something they loved, that's desire, and then turned into fear because it turns into a nightmare.
Yeah.
The item was because you can also always steal the items later on and have a quest to get it back somehow, because they can't live without that one item. And they have to that one. No copies or anything. That exact one.
Yeah. That is a great way to do it because I certainly learned from my campaign was I had the whole world built out. I knew that the characters who played the one-shot were really invested in the main villain. So I just thought, well, if I just let this group of 6 to 7 people wander around the city, they'll pursue the main goal. They didn't.
Of course, you can never expect the players to follow your plans.
Yeah. And I try not to railroad, but what happened in my players was because they had no reason to work together, so they all went out to pursue their own goals, and pretty soon people were saying things to the effect of, well, we're not getting a lot of action in our game. I was like, well, that's because half of you went dress shopping and the other half, went to go ask for rogue work, and you refused to work together. So,
and there I have another advice that I've heard from somebody else. Try and introduce new NPCs on the spot or something that somehow leads them together towards the same thing.
Yes. What I just did, and we're playing our next game this Sunday, so this was 2 weeks ago, we had a player who'd been out for a couple of sessions, so I just went to him and said, hey, you were kidnapped by one of the bad guys, and they've been torturing you for 2 days. Is that okay with you? He's like, yeah, that's great. So I was like, hey, there's a way to get everybody together because you have to go rescue your friend now.
The question is, how good are the characters? Like, do they want to save this person?
Yeah, unfortunately, they did want to go save the person, but I could see how that could backfire.
Yeah, because you have to make sure that if you're playing something like that, it has to be with a PC that the others want to rescue. Yeah. They want to keep. Yeah. Else they're just like, screw you, make a new character.
Yeah. Fortunately, my players aren't that mean. They're only mean to me, but they're at least nice to each other.
That is a good thing, but not all players are like that. So, man, you should learn to keep that in mind. Me too as well. We all should.
Yeah. I think that is one important thing. Is something else I've learned as a player also is try to get a session 0 helps with this, but find a way to get your group to be cohesive and want to work together. Because if you start the session off robbing another player character, well, then there's that divide between these two people that can last for a long time. Even if you're best friends in real life, your characters are at odds. It happened to me.
The characters can still be odd and work together still. I have done that myself as a player. In Pathfinder, was it? I was in a party with a human paladin. I was a vampire anti-paladin. We worked together. we hate each other all the time. He was the damage dealer. I was the tank. He was full on damage. I was full on tank. Yeah. And we were always at a fault, but we had the common goal of serving our country.
And that, I think, is the best thing. A common goal, a common enemy. You can bicker on the way to the bad guy, but once you find them, you're a team, you work together, then you go back to dropping mics down each other's armor.
Exactly. And another advice, this is for the players. Make sure that the other person that you are trying to do this with is okay with it. For me, I talked with this paladin before we actually made our character, so we had an idea of what we were doing.
That helps. To me, that's sort of, I don't always do a session 0, but I'm learning very much that communication pre-game, it makes or breaks some parties. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much. I've really enjoyed having this conversation. I've already got several things I'm stealing from you. Some I'm stealing from Max Schreider, who I just talked to yesterday. This has been very informative for me. I hope other people are getting just as much out of it.
Yeah. Even though I'm new, I'm glad I could help.
Hey, there's at no point in my life when somebody isn't going to be able to offer me a new perspective. I've only been doing it for like 6 months. I'm on the first group ever. I've got a lot to learn. The other Max Schreider, he's been doing it for 30-something years. And I think he would have said the same thing, you can always offer someone advice. They may not want it, but you can always offer it. All right. Well, I'm going to go ahead and end the recording here. Again, thank you so much.
No problem. And thanks for letting me be here.
Absolutely.